time for another edition of Wellness Wednesday with Dr. Bradley Meyer of the Okoboji Wellness Clinic. We're going to have a special show today. We've got some things to talk about today. We're going to talk about the evolution of defining the Okoboji Wellness Clinic, and a patient all the way from Dallas helped with this a little bit, Dr. Meyer.
Absolutely. We are celebrating our fourth year already, and this month. And so when it's amazing, when we took off, it was during the heat of all of the COVID wildness, and 4 years later, it's been a journey. And just like the folks that come here that, you know, sometimes feel like they're in the gravel on the side of the road spinning their wheels, we want to get them back onto that firm foundation. That is something that we've had to define for ourselves and keep ourselves on firm foundation, on solid concepts, offering something that is results driven. As we started off, we were largely treating with ivermectin and seeing the value in that for many cases of COVID. Hyperbaric therapy, which is increased oxygen pressure, which is phenomenal for inflammation. That has been a mainstay of our care, but we've continued to evolve. And looking at myself as a practitioner that was trained in the traditional system, that had the skill set of utilizing the traditional tools of pharmaceuticals and the procedures that I was taught during medical school, just has continued to evolve and look into how do I come alongside folks, and how do we come alongside folks as the team here to bring people into this new time, and this period of time right now where folks are realizing that, oh man, I'm on like 5, 10, 15 pharmaceuticals and I feel like not so good. And maybe I need to, they're realizing that now that there's more to do. And so that's what I started to realize for myself. I'm like, wow, there's more I can do to help folks, because I feel like just, adding all these pills, they're really not, I'm not improving quality here. And so as we go along, I look at myself as a bridge. And initially I got so jaded and so frustrated with some of the shortcomings of the traditional system that I got away from appreciating some of the value in the traditional system. And I've come to this center ground here where I appreciate the value in both areas. And again, kind of where we used to be as traditional practitioners, a lot more tools in the tool belt, in the earlier days in the 1900s, and that kind of, again, got narrowed down as time went on. But this young gal came in with high energy, and she had been off to countless holistic practitioners across the country, and she has a job that carries her around the country. And she's excited, by the way. She's like, I want to come in and talk about this place, because this place is like incredible. It's totally unique. It's different than anywhere else she's ever been. And she's been to places in San Diego, Dallas, Chicago, big cities where she's worked some of the top holistic natural folks. And she shared that here, it's more of a family homey feel. The color schemes in the clinic to everybody on the team that's really excited to be here and to be a part of that journey with folks, going all the way up to the front where we have Shauna or Sandy or Chris is sitting up front. The face of the clinic when you walk in that front door matters, and so she took note of that. She's like, I want to get in. Give me a couple more weeks. I'm already feeling better, and give me a couple weeks, and I want to get in and do a testimony. I want to talk on the radio. So, so it was just a total blessing. She's like, when I've been out in these areas, it's almost like naturopathic care, holistic care, has become super specialized as well. And I didn't realize this necessarily as much, where you've got somebody that's quote unquote a mold specialist, You've got somebody that's a heavy metal specialist in the holistic area. You've got somebody that is a ozone specialist or a hyperbaric specialist. And she's like, this is one of the few places she's been to where it's kind of a one-stop shop, and where we've identified some of the top tools to help that body get on that healing pathway, and brought them into the clinic in one location. And she said the other thing she noticed is a lot of these practitioners takes a long time to get in, months, and if you even come close to eating a seed oil, which isn't so much,
Mm-hmm.
so that, these are your canolas and vegetable oils and things like that, they'll dismiss you as
Wow.
a patient, because they have so many folks that want to get in to see them, and that's just ballooned over the course of the last 3 to 4 years, that if you're not 100% fully committed to being 99.9% perfect, then many of those cases, those practitioners will not continue to work with you. So she's like, but the reality of the situation is, when you're working through life, there are we do the best we can.
Mm-hmm.
and so even doing really, really good, sometimes we got to be more specific and more sharp with avoiding what's inflaming us, some folks more than others. But boy, oh boy, can we make big progress if we are even 85 to 90% or even 75% improvement from where we were a year ago. And when we didn't know, hey, this was inflaming us, I cut this out. So she was very appreciative of the fact that, if she was going to sit down with Molly Avery, our functional nutritionist, that Molly she's really laid back, super brilliant and super sweet and super smart. And she's not going to knock her over the head saying, you ate seed oil last night. She's going to say, hey, this is why seed oil is not good for us, and this is what it's in, and we want to do everything we can to avoid it, because it inflames our system. But we're here because we're human too. Mm-hmm. We have the same challenges. We're living in the same environment. That is, when you go out to eat, or you go grocery shopping. When you do these things, if you're going to try to clean up your surroundings and your environment and what's inflaming you, it's more involved than we've traditionally been disciplined in doing in these areas. So we're experiencing it, we're feeling it too, and so that I hope that makes us feel like we can empathize a little bit better, because we understand the challenges.
I appreciate that a lot. I want to go back to the story that you shared with allergies with your son, I believe it was. You feel the pain that other people feel because you deal with it in your own family setting. And so sometimes it's, I don't know, from a patient perspective, you feel like, well, they just don't understand my frustration. And that's not the case with the Okoboji Wellness Clinic.
Not at all. Every one of us, Molly, she's got her story. She's had a history of Lyme, and she's had a history of autoimmune and such, and she's overcome these things. But guess what? Most of us have those similar stories, whether or not it's Crohn's or it's some autoimmune dysfunction. We've got our stories, and we're living it and working through it, myself included. And so every day we're working to make our own lives better, our families' lives better, and everybody that walks in the door, their lives better.
We got to get on to this next story because we're running out of time. This is mind-boggling to me. It's frightening to me. Recurrent shingles. Yeah,
and again, so many different approaches you can take for this. And I honestly was convinced this person had 10 bouts of them since catching COVID and getting into the eye and causing all kinds of problems, to the point where it was it was recurrent, and even medicine to prevent it, like antivirals, was not helping. So I was pretty convinced when they came in that they were going to need to do some real big heavy hitter stuff, and meaning I thought that individual was going to have to do a bunch with hyperbaric therapy. I thought they were going to need some IV ozone, which is huge to bring down. It's antimicrobial. It's a superpowered oxygen gas that helps the body's immune system fight. I thought, oh, for sure. But our bodies can be battered and bruised, and every single day continue to surprise me. And so she came in, and I was like, all right, this is probably the path we're going to go. I got that individual on some iodine to boost that metabolism, support that thyroid, and a little B vitamin support, and some mineral support, some adrenal support, and one other thing. She there's a bout of, so it started with the COVID. And these are the recommendations I would typically make myself. But then we got a couple, I think we got one or two COVID or shingles shots. And that didn't seem to do the trick either to help eliminate the shingles. So I said, well, we got to find out what is intoxicating, what is inflaming. So then we go after our typical low-hanging fruit. And this individual had had some digestive stuff going on, the bloating, this, loose stools and things like that. I'm like, well, why don't we try these few supplements here? And why don't we have you really tighten up and do this anti-inflammatory plan for a few months? And I was expecting her to see her back in, 2 to 4 weeks. We did some blood work and to get going on hyperbarics and ozone. And 3 months pass. I see the individual this last week, and they share with me, since she was in, no more bouts of it. And she also shared with me her energy level was up. She was really battling fatigue and brain fog. And she shared with me that that she had made these dietary changes. And so she'd cut out gluten, she'd cut out dairy, and she'd cut out processed sugar. And that was the magic sauce for her. And so I just absolutely was astounded. And so now we're going to kind of fall back in and pick one of those things. She's like, yeah, I still want to boost my immune system further, so we're going to go ahead and probably do some stuff down the ozone path. But my goodness, so for 3 to 4 years dealing with these recurrent bouts, and this is it. When our body gets stressed, if you've got stress from work, that's gonna depress your immune system, and then if you get stress from what you're eating, that's going to stress your immune system. So your body's ability to keep all this stuff away, these things like viruses, recurrent viruses, or bacterial infections or pneumonias or whatever it may be, it's not going to be able to do as good of a job because it's fighting too many fires. That's the thing. We want to reduce the amount of wildfires, so to speak, that your body's having to deal with. And a big way we do that is, okay, we got to identify the fires, put the fires out, and that's where we call in the fire departments. But and that's many times the hyperbaric therapy, the ozone therapies, many other things that we do to work on putting the fires out. But if we are still intoxing on the front end, as we talk about the fire department has a whole lot more work to do. So I look at it as if you've got, like, say, a Canadian wildfire and you've got a raging, you get to the point where it can overwhelm the resources of the fire department to put all those fires out.
Right.
So you can help yourself out in a big, big way if you're identifying as many of those fires, and we'll help in that process. And some of those fires even are polypharmacy.
Mm-hmm.
Polypharmacy is, if you're on 5 to 10, medications, prescription medications, we got to look at that and say, okay, what's a responsible way, or is there an overall net positive for all these things? Does that outweigh some of the potential stress it's putting on the body? And do we need to find some other way to get off of so many medications?
Right.
And so getting back to, again, that whole fresh look of, thanks to our friend and guest from Dallas, saying, folks need to know about you guys. You guys are doing some incredible stuff there that's pretty unique, and that's was good for me to hear. And because every week, it's we're coming in here and doing our thing, but sometimes that perspective coming from somebody that's been in other places and that can speak with some confidence about what we're doing here.
Yeah.
And so think of us as that bridge. It's because, and that's where I sit. It's like, okay, I want the best for you. I want you to, thrive and not survive every day, but thrive, live your best. And I want you to not be spinning those wheels on the side of the road once we get into the gravel there. I want you on firm footing. And once we've been spinning there a while and not making any progress, let's see if we can get you out there, be a bridge, and utilize some of these the fire department tools and identify the toxins. Yeah, one other thing, I had a gal, and I just did very few things with her, and I addressed her adrenals, and I did some prolozone ozone shots on her for her back pain. Back pain is gone, and she's probably in her 70s. Her energy is way up. We stayed very narrow, and she feels like her quality of life is way better. Another gal that came to us last week, because she's been coming 1 week on and off from out in South Dakota, same thing. She could not sleep at night. Her pain was so bad at night, she could not sleep at night. And she just thought this was her lot. This was the way that, this is aging. This is the way it's going to be for me. Mm-hmm. And so she came in and she's like, I'm open to whatever you have to offer because this is miserable. Mm-hmm. I can't sleep at night. I'm in pain. I don't want to be on hydrocodone or things like that. And we did a series of, again, hyperbarics, ozone injections, prolozone, and addressed her adrenal glands, and she is sleeping through the night. She came in largely in her wheelchair, and now she's going down the hall using her wheeled walker and regaining strength. So it's such a beautiful thing to give people hope.
Yeah. Realize
there's more. There's a bridge, and it's not one way or the other. You don't have to come here and be perfect. It's a journey to get to where we want to go. And some folks come in here and say, I don't want pharmaceuticals. And I'm like, okay, that's your life. You get to decide. Or some folks are like, I want the best of both worlds. I just want to feel better. I'm like, okay, well, we can work with you on that too.
All right. Very good. Dr. Meyer, we've got to run. Let folks know how they can come see you.
Yeah, give us a call at 712-339-6024. We're at 3305 Berquist Avenue in Spirit Lake, just off Highway 71. We've got the complimentary discovery calls where we talk about your story and making sure you're a good fit and ready to start on the journey with us. And again, those are complimentary. We got a great team, and we're ready to start working with you.
Very good. Dr. Meyer, always a pleasure. We'll chat with you again next week. Have a great day, and again, we'll talk with you next week.
Sounds great. Be well, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
Dr. Bradley Meyer of the Okoboji Wellness Clinic. You can also go to their website, okobojiwellnessclinic.com.